Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're from. J-Ro here off Big Hair Hits, AlleghenyMountainRadio.org, 8 to 10 p.m. every Monday, aka Dorf. And today what we're going to do is talk about a game off the Xbox 360 called Deadliest Warrior. It's also available for the PS3. And this is a one-on-one fighting game based on a television show that's been canceled for a while now. And what I like about this fighting game is that, again, I haven't played every fighting game on the planet, but I like this one because there are many variables involved on how to defeat your opponent. For example, once I unpause it here, I will be the samurai on the left. There's going to be a ninja on the right. The samurai has, and each warrior has two weapons. Short-range weapons, so the samurai would have like a short sword, and a long-range weapon. So in the samurai example, he'll have a spear. I believe it's called a yari, I believe. And then each character also has projectile weapons. So the samurai has a bow and arrow. The ninja has ninja stars. And there are other characters in there like a Spartan, pirate, and they all have different weapons, different projectile attacks. Now, the hardest enemies are the ones, to me, are the ones that have extra protection, such as shields. So you got a Spartan that has a shield, but can also use short-range and long-range weapons and projectiles with that shield. And then a Viking has the same advantage as well. The reason I picked the samurai is because I keep it on the hardest difficulty. And if I were to use the ninja, I mean, he's so fast that I can beat every computer opponent without fail. So, the samurai is a little slower, but still as cool. And the controls, you got high, middle, low attacks, projectile attacks, of course. And the right stick is very important, where it's a sidestep. If you pull it down, you get out of the way, up, you get out of the way, away from your opponent, shuffle back, towards your opponent, shuffle forward. Now, let's do a little gameplay, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. And there's also a parry move, meaning if you block, and if you time it correctly, as your opponent attacks, if you press attack, the weapons clash, stun your opponent momentarily, and then you can take care of business. Here we go. I'm a samurai on the left, computer's a ninja on the right. Ready and go. Now, because the ninja doesn't have a shield, I always use my short-range weapon because, now here's my finishing move. He's got a club, and then, unfortunate for the ninja, his head is separated from his body. Now, each round is best out of 3. And as you can see, the rounds are rather quick. So you just threw a ninja star at me, and you just parried my move, and my life bar has just been depleted, and he hit me a couple more times on the way down, just for good measure. Now, again, oh man, he's clobbering me. It's very important I sidestep in order to be successful. The ninja really has to work at, there, I just got him with some arrows. I might as well finish up my arrows while he's dead on the ground. Now, that lasted what, not even a minute? The issue with this game is that I usually don't complain about load times, but if you keep winning, you're going to see this screen a lot. It's just loading. Loading, loading, loading. And then eventually you fight your next enemy. Mine here is a samurai. Okay, so samurai versus samurai. Another issue I have with this game is that the computer opponents, they're all in the same order all the time. So it's like, that gets a little, I don't know, boring after a while, I suppose. But, okay, there's me, samurai. There's the enemy samurai. Here we go. Now again, I'm going to keep my short-range sword out because my enemy does not have a shield. And I'm quicker with a sword than I am with a spear. And let's hit him with a couple arrows while he's kind of far away. And there he is. Bam. I like how it goes into like a slight slow-mo when you defeat your opponent. It's pretty cool. Let's see if I can get him with a spear. Or yari, whatever you want to call it. Kind of shuffle back, shuffle to the side. Now there is a endurance bar underneath your health bar. So if you try to block too many times, then he's going to stun you for a moment, and as you can see, that's not very good. Usually if the enemy starts off that far away, which they all do, and they don't have a shield, I try to hit them with some arrows. Now let's see if I can do a finishing move on. See, my guy's limping because he got hit in the leg. We'll do one more here, but it's kind of cool how you see your enemy defeated with arrows sticking out of him and all that. And that's his little celebration at the end. And that's another thing too. This doesn't have the goofy endings at a lot of these Street Fighters and Mortal Kombats and all that kind of stuff. This is more of a attempt at a realistic take. Now here's a good example. This next enemy has a shield, and they use it all the time. They can actually use it as an offensive weapon, like swing it at you and knock you over. So these enemies are usually the toughest. So let's see what we can do with this guy here. But this was $10 off Xbox Live when I got it a couple years ago. It might be cheaper now. I visit the Xbox Live multiplayer sometimes, but there's usually never anybody playing it. But when I got it a few years ago, if you just message the people on the leaderboards, the high score list, whatever you want to call it, they'll usually visit you and want to play you. So, against a shield, I get out my spear. And I sidestep a lot. And as you can see in the environment, there's stuff on the ground. There, I just knocked the shield out, so I'm just going to unload with arrows. Do the best I can. I'm limping, not good. And I should have used my short sword on that. That was my mistake. See, he's still alive. My man's got 3 arrows in him. So, and there's also, if you have a weapon like his projectile, where it's like a spear, and he misses, it'll still be on the ground. And that gives you an opportunity of the enemy who threw it to pick it back up. So it's up to me to get near it and actually step on it by clicking the left stick. Now I just hacked off my arm, stabbed me in the chest, and took care of business. Now, because I lost, there's no load time because I'm fighting the same guy. So that's actually an advantage because, man, you're going to see that load time a lot. But there is a part 2 to this game. Maybe we'll review that at a later date. But especially if you're playing against a human opponent in the same room here. So he just broke my spear in half and got me in the leg. It's a lot of fun. I mean, you can just mush buttons and still be successful. I'm trying to not. He's limping now, so I'm going to keep my distance with my long-range weapon. I'm going to hit him with a finishing move because he's getting on my nerves. There we go. And wham! Hassan chop. There it is. Bam. And the finishing move is the same animation for every character, but alright, let's see if I can defeat this guy. And that'll be that. Let's see. Spear. Back up. Sidestep. Nope. Wasn't quick enough. Left trigger blocks. Alright, I'm not limping yet. Let me unload some arrows on him because my health is very low. Might as well. Sometimes if you get him with 4 arrows in a row and a shield, it'll stun him momentarily, and if you're close enough. I lost. Let's do one more, and then we'll call it quits. But yeah, this game's pretty addicting. I mean, if you were to play against the computer and beat every opponent, probably only take you like 10 minutes. about there. I never timed it, but it seems pretty quick. The loading times added up seem to be longer than the actual game itself. And there's no real score, but to challenge yourself, what you can do is it keeps track of the percentages of wins per character. So I always use the samurai. Right now I'm at 49%. So you just keep fighting the computer to get it up to 50%, 51%, so on and so forth. But this is on the hardest difficulty, because if it wasn't, I'm not an expert on any game, but to me it's a little too easy. And if I wasn't talking and playing at the same time, I'd probably win a whole lot more. I stunned him, and let's finish this guy off. Whoop, see, I missed. So I gotta build my stamina back up, and I wanted to do the finishing move, but you guys have seen that enough times. Alright, one more. That's another thing about this game, it's got that just one more time aspect to it. One more, boom. Knocked him back, hit him with an arrow, nope, unsuccessful, get away. Block, come on, block, man. Sidestep. Spear. Now I'm gonna hit him. There we go. Nope. Come on, man. I tried to do the finish move. Lopped his arm off, though, so that wasn't too bad. So that's Deadliest Warrior. Highly recommended. Big Hair Hits. AlleghenyMountainRadio.org. Mondays, 8 to 10 p.m. See you next time.